to Think Big with Dan Qasim, and our guest today is Curtland. So, Curtland, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, what you do and where you're located.
Yes, my name is Curtland Cleary. I am located in Sacramento, California. I run a sales and marketing company for Fortune 500 companies, and we work out of big box stores, and sell products and services.
Awesome. So, I always ask this question: how did you get your job?
I moved to California from Colorado, and I was looking for an opportunity. I had a baby on the way, so I was looking for an opportunity to where I can grow and somebody give me an opportunity to, just display my talents and what I was capable of. And my business partner now, he gave me an opportunity, and I ran with it. In 2018, I started C&C Elite.
So, you mentioned that he gave you an opportunity. So, I guess what did that look like? I mean, did he already have this company and he said to join me, or kind of, he saw your potential and eventually said, like, if you do X, Y, Z, you could, join, or what did that look like for you?
Yeah, so he had a company. He has a company. It's called DDI Consulting, and I started in his company in 2015. And he told me, hey, if you show up, work hard, listen, you can have an opportunity to run your own business as long as you master the skill sets as far as sales, team building, training, developing others. You can have a opportunity to run your own business and work with some of the clients. And I trusted his word and stuck to it. And 3 years later, I got promoted and started C&C Elite.
Awesome. So I guess as of right now, what does a typical day look like for you?
A typical day for me, or as far as what we do as a whole?
I guess both.
I mean, for me, I have my normal routine where, I get up and I work out and podcast and, do some type of self-development. We do, in-house training here as far as different sales skills. We teach a lot of entrepreneurship, business, leadership, management, things of that nature. And then the sales reps go out to some of the retail locations and talk to customers about AT&T products and services.
So I guess when you talk about going to different locations, is it
Mhm.
mostly around Sacramento? I know, like, Sacramento, like, I've been there before. It's not a huge city, but you travel like a lot throughout California. Do you go to San Francisco often? Like, what does that look like for you?
We actually have access to all the retail locations, which is Sam's Clubs, Costco's, and Targets in the Northern California area. So we go as far as the Bay, San Francisco. We go as far as Yuba City, which is about an hour and a half away. So we have access to all the greater Sacramento area, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. So I guess in terms of like working with some of these brands, what are some of the biggest trends that you're seeing now when it comes to e-commerce in general?
What is some of the what? I'm sorry.
The biggest trends that you're seeing when it comes to e-commerce.
I think everything's just moving into tech, and everything's moving towards, just telecommunications, face-to-face sales. I think everything is moving into the AI. I know that's something that's becoming really big now. I think everything is just moving towards the technology aspect of business, right? If you're not, technologically savvy, you're gonna have a hard time, being an entrepreneur and growing in the industry.
So I can see like you are teaching entrepreneurs. So how you are teaching the entrepreneurs, and in what areas you are teaching the entrepreneurs?
In all aspects, right? As far as how to start a business, how to grow a business, how to train and develop others, the back end of business, payroll, recruiting, how to post on job boards, how to conduct a preliminary interview, just all aspects of how to run and maintain a business.
Cool, cool. So I believe you are I believe you are more towards AI, because I just grabbed it from your conversation. So are you guys using AI in this sector, that like in teaching entrepreneurs, or even for your e-commerce business? So
Not necessarily. I use AI a little bit.
mhm.
I may ask AI, some tips or on a meeting or something like that, but I don't use it a lot. I know some of the reps may use it to kind of run some of their individual meetings and things of that nature. I'm just starting to get into AI. I actually used the AI to write me a job ad, and I
Mhm.
posted it on Indeed. So I
Mhm.
did use an AI for that, and I'm getting some pretty good results. So I'm just trying it out. I haven't really dove a lot into it, but I do know that's something that's coming around the corner. That's here now, actually, and it's getting pretty big. So pretty excited about it.
Great. So, by the way, pardon me because I'm a technical person. My whole background is about technology,
Mm-hmm.
and right now I'm an AI person. So,
Nice.
like, I'm working a lot on AI. So that's why I'm more interested in this area. You know, AI can reduce a lot of your workload, and
Yeah.
it can like it can be something more than getting some tips or more than right now I can see like the young guys, how young guys are exploiting their skills. Like they they are using AI just to do their assignments, which is wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Seeing that
yeah,
too.
but everything always have good and bad aspects. But what I believe is AI can ease your lives. So
Hmm.
in upcoming time, it will be going to reduce a lot of things, and it will be going to make your work more efficient.
Yeah. I'm starting
So
to notice that as I'm using it a little bit. It's I tell my sales reps like you should not have an issue with running a meeting now with the AI. You can just ask the AI to put together a meeting for you,
yeah,
and the time limit, and it'll do it for you. So
it
if you,
will.
if a quick meeting, it'll help you out. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'm like I said, I'm just starting to get into it. I want to dive into it a little more. I'm just playing around with it for now. But like I said, it wrote me an ad, and I actually posted it, and I got some really good results. So I'm pretty excited about AI.
So going back to you say that working with entrepreneurs, like I guess what would you say it's the most common mistake that you see entrepreneurs make, like new entrepreneurs that most people should know about listening to this podcast?
The biggest mistake I see entrepreneurs make is they quit. All right, when it gets tough, it gets entrepreneurship. I think social media sometimes may not tell the full truth of what entrepreneurship is. I heard somebody told me once before that entrepreneurship is like flying a plane and work and building it while you're in the air. And I think sometimes people, when it gets tough, they just give up. And I think the biggest advice I can give to someone is just don't quit. Just continue to keep going, and eventually it'll pay off.
So would you say like if somebody's doing something that is that they're failing in something, would you say maybe iterate or maybe like try something different? I think also, and just one thing I'll mention too is most people I've talked to say, hey, listen, the challenge, and this like for me also was like doing too many things at once and saying, listen, focus on this one thing, be really good at it. This is like a scalable thing and like a
Mhm.
scalable skill and focus on it. What would you say is like if somebody's doing something like how do you know when it's time to move on and like focus like on something else?
I do think you have to put your 10,000 hours in, right? I do think you have to master a skill set first before you can move on to other things. Because I know from my experience, trying to focus on a lot of different things at one time, you'll never be effective at one. So I think you just continue to keep going and master one skill set, and I think you'll feel it when it's not the right time, and when you've done all you can do and you just can't see yourself moving any further in that industry. I think you'll feel it. But for the most part, I think if you really, really try, you really, really research what you're working on, get coaches, get mentors, I think you can master any skill set that you're working on.
So in terms of mentors, like what do you look for like, in a good mentor?
The first thing is, are they successful in the industry that I'm in? I went to school a little bit, and I was being taught business from a person who never ran a business. Uh, so I think the first thing I look for is like, are you successful in the industry that I'm actually asking questions about? First and foremost, and I guess the second thing is how much how much knowledge do you know about? Are you pretty efficient at it? Are you successful again at it? Are you good at coaching people at it? Right? Are you a good coach? Are you a good mentor as far as a good person too? Do you have integrity? Right? Are you transparent? Are you going to share the good times and the bad times? Not just share all the bells and whistles, but are you going to share when it was tough? Because that's where we learn the most. I want to know about your failures and how did you overcome those failures.
That makes sense. But I guess how like what do you tell somebody? 'Cause I think people always like follow your passion, follow your what you enjoy doing. But how do you I think like certain passions, certain things. it's hard to really monetize, and grow a business from that. So, like, what do you tell somebody who enjoys something that is very difficult to scale or do as a business, in terms of like finding a passion where they could actually, enjoy it and make money, simultaneously?
I think it's just find something that you love, and if you have some type of love for it and excitement for it, continue to keep doing it. All right. I mean, I'm a avid of follow your passion. Right. I know some people aren't. I know some people say, don't follow your passion. I'm an advocate of it. Like, follow your passion. If you're passionate about it and you're willing to put the work in behind the passion, I think you can be good at it. I think you can be successful at it. So if you're passionate about it, why not? Right? Because most people in the world do things that they're not passionate just to get a paycheck, just to take care of the bills, just to take care of their family. But if you're passionate about it, stick to it, especially when you're young. Find that passion, stick to it.
That's true. So I guess in terms of your consulting, when it comes to these big brands like Target, Walmart, compared to small entrepreneurs, like what do you think separates these brands? Obviously, they have more money and like, and more reach, but in terms of like what separates them from somebody who's like a lot smaller and is not having as much success?
I just think the exposure and the marketing that they can do to touch more people. I think smaller companies and smaller brands don't have the resources and the money and the marketing to touch as many people as possible.
Do
Right.
you see
So
some of the same problems, between smaller brands and larger brands like Walmart and Target, or more problems with the larger brand 'cause they have so much overhead? Like, I mean, where do you see, I guess, more issues per se?
I think they have the same problems. I think just the larger company is just on a bigger scale, right? And it's less exposure. I think with a smaller company, one problem could be a huge problem for you. Whereas, Walmart and Target, I heard that Walmart gets sued every day. I think a small company, if you get sued, that might be the end of it. So I think they have the same problems. It's just on a larger scale and may hurt you a little more if you're smaller.
Right. So what would you say has been your biggest success story in terms of your consulting business?
Well, we've been in business since 2018. We've done over $2 million in gross revenue. I've been able to, have freedom of time and money to spend time with who I want, when I want, wherever I want. My mom's on my payroll now, and she gets to hang out with her grandkids and get paid for it. And we've been able to expand. I've been able to, offer the same opportunity that I was given to my, business partner now, and I'm seeing her thrive and grow, and she's starting to make some money and being able to have some freedom of time and money. So I think just being able to give back and being able to give the same opportunity I was giving to other people is probably the biggest success story for me.
What would you
And
say
I'm
in
excited.
terms? No, yeah, sorry. I was just curious, like, so just to be like, more specific, like, if somebody was going to use your services, right? Like, if you can mention like a specific brand that you helped, do X, Y, Z in terms of like scalability or just like I mean, I guess, yeah, like obviously like your personal story is amazing. It's really cool. But I think in terms of like, your business, like a business like that you work with and help them grow, if somebody who's listening to this say, hey, I want to use a service, like, what could you tell them about maybe like a specific example?
Well, I mean, we work with a lot of different clients. So AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, Amazon. Our main client is AT&T, and we've been AT&T's number one retailer for the past 10 years. And we're responsible for over 60% of AT&T's overall sales. Um, and I think that's huge, which is why we're able to work with a lot of different clients because we've done so well with AT&T.
Wow. So I guess early on, like when you were first getting started and talking, having these discussions with these larger brands, like was it intimidating or like even like getting on the phone or having a call? Like how did you handle some of those, overcoming like some fears or objections that they maybe gave you like in the very beginning?
Yeah, it was intimidating, but the way our business model is structured, you have to go through the sales process to get to management, right? So you learn how to overcome all those objections and the difficult times in the sales field, right? When you're dealing with customers on a daily basis. All right. So by the time I got to be able to have these conversations at the big boy table, I'm able to handle the objections and the difficult conversations and things of that nature because I went through it through the sales process.
So would you say that these larger companies are easier to work with than your smaller companies? Or I guess I'm sure you probably have like, certain experience. You can have to mention specific brands, but like, just, what that's been like, large for small companies.
I think it's easy. I haven't really had an opportunity to work with smaller companies. I've only worked with Xfinity and AT&T, and I think it's been lovely working with them because we're incentivized on coming through for the client, and once we come through for them, they come through for us. So they do stuff like take us to Super Bowls, and they fund our national conferences and things of that nature, and they come visit our offices, and they want to come check out the sales floor and see what we're doing to provide the revenue for them. They send a lot of training to us. They keep us updated on all the promotions and things of that nature. So I think just because they're a bigger company, they actually really care about the people that's driving the business for them.
That's awesome. So I guess, has your job changed at all since COVID? I'm sure, like, I don't know, like if, like before COVID, you were traveling like a lot more. Has that changed? Like, what has that done for your business, like in your life in general, like if it has?
I think it's made us more innovative, right? Zoom wasn't something that we were using like that before COVID. I've been able to, expand my interview process by using Zoom. During COVID, I actually ran the company through Zoom, which obviously most companies did the same thing. But during that time, we actually won, best places to work in Sacramento during that COVID time because we were able to just continue to be successful during COVID. I think it's just made us more innovative, right? We were able to reach out and touch more people because of COVID. I think COVID helped us.
So, will you please let me know? Can you tell me about the challenges you have faced at the start of your business? Because you started your business before COVID, and things has been changed in COVID, and before COVID, you didn't know like COVID is coming.
No,
But out of this scope, what were the challenges that you have faced while you started your business in 2018?
I think the biggest challenge for me was just understanding business, right? I didn't really understand how to run a business, especially my first year. I had no idea, like some of the legal things. I also run a business in California, so they have a lot of different laws than a lot of other
Mm-hmm.
states. So just understanding the different laws, just understanding how to be, really profitable, how to make sure I'm managing my gross profit margin. That was probably the most difficult thing for me. So those are some of the most difficult things for me. Just really understanding business for the most part, right? Because getting to management and getting to running your own business in our industry, you have to go through the process of the sales, team building and things of that nature. And so once you start your company, you're kind of on your own. So you kind of have to figure it out, like most entrepreneurs. And that was probably the most difficult thing. Without my coaches, I probably wouldn't be here this long.
Okay, so most of the time I'm talking about technology because I'm a tech guy. So,
Mm-hmm.
so what is most excited thing in your business that is related to the tech?
I mean, I work with AT&T, so I think as the technology is getting better, AT&T is getting better, right? They're as the technology is growing, AT&T is growing, and they want to stay times with the technology. So they're adjusting.
Mm,
So when I first got in the industry, we can only sell direct TV. So now they're starting to move into streaming, and everything is going streaming.
mhm.
So now they offer a streaming TV service. We're getting fiber. We got 5,000 megabits of fiber that we can sell now. It's a lot that AT&T is growing in the technology world. So as they're growing, we're growing with them.
So there must be a lot of elements involved in these things. Like you always start hiring whenever you need these things. You keep the resources in your free pool and utilize them whenever they are required. Or like what are the aspects? Because dif different expertise are required to achieve one goal. In your case, software, hardware, infrastructure, labor, like a lot of things.
Yeah.
How do you manage this?
It's tough at times, but once you get in the rhythm of it, we're always hiring because we're always looking to expand and grow. Right,
Mm,
our biggest challenge in our industry is that we have a lot of opportunity to expand and grow. We just don't have enough managers. So every day, like I'm always looking for, new talent, new people who want to move into an entrepreneurship role. I actually, right before this podcast, I spent the whole morning interviewing different candidates, just looking for people who want to come in and thrive and be a partner, right? So I'm always working and trying to innovate and trying to, make the company better.
Oh, well, this is great and positive, I believe. So let me know if you can give me an advice as an entrepreneur. I'm also an entrepreneur. So if you can give me an advice in golden words.
I mean, I think I mentioned it earlier. It's just, people ask me this question a lot. I think the biggest advice I can ever give anyone, and it comes from my own experience, is just don't quit, don't give up. Just don't give up. If you're striving to be an entrepreneur, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. You're striving to be an entrepreneur and run a business and be in the business world. Don't give up on yourself, especially when it gets hard. If you're going to make that decision to leave and quit, leave on a high, leave on a positive note, right? Most people leave when it's tough, leave when it's successful, and then make your decision from there, because you're making a logical decision rather than an emotional decision, right? So I think the biggest advice I can give anyone is just don't quit, and always be a student. Ask questions, talk to your mentors, find mentors, ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone and be a student.
So I guess early on, yeah, that's really good advice. But I guess early on, like I'm sure, I'm sure you probably had days like most people who are starting out where you're like, I don't know if this is for me, right?
Oh yeah, I had a lot of. I have one of those days probably once a week every.
So
Yeah.
So like, what do you do to like manage like your stress or handle? Like you mentioned working out in the mornings. Like, do you like meditate? Do like other things? Like, how do you handle that?
I keep my goals in my forefront, right? I have my goals all over the place. If you come in my office, I have my goals on my wall. I have my goals on my mirror, in my bedroom, in my bathroom. I'm always constantly reminded of like why I'm doing this, why I can't quit. I also have a 7-year-old daughter, and I just always tell myself in my head, like, I can't come home and tell her that she can't have McDonald's because daddy quit.
Nice.
Amazing.
Cool.
I just can't fathom saying.
That's amazing. So I guess just to wrap, if we're going to have this conversation again, like in 2, 3 years, where do you see your business going in that moment?
Expanding, right? We have one expansion so far, but in the next 2, 3 years, we should be at 10, 15 expansions, different cities, different states. And just being able to travel and do the work and see the world and just give back to the opportunity to other people. That's my main goal. That's what excites me. That's what gets me up in the morning.
It's amazing.
Nice.
Well, we're rooting for you. We're wishing you like the best of luck, and hopefully in a few years they'll have even more locations, 20, 30 locations. So let's keep in touch, and thank you again for your time.
Hey, thank you, Dan, for having me, man. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good rest of your
Really
day.
enjoyed.
All right, you too.
All right. All right. Bye.